So guys, today I've decided to take a walk in one of the fields where we planted the maize last year. And what you should know is this maize actually took 5.5 months to grow. Let me say from day one, from the day of planting up to the day of harvesting, took us 5.5 months. And remember, it did not even reach the stage of drying up, because here we use our maize for silage. So which means if we were to dry it completely and say want to dry it completely and get maybe the grains, it was going to take us up to 6 months. Just imagine. So now in this video guys, I want to discuss, or I want to share with you some of the problems that the European farmers are actually facing. In the African farmers do not talk about it, or African people do not talk about it. Even here in Europe, sometimes they don't talk about it because they are used of it. So for us, the people who are from Africa, or people who do not experience such situations, or for example the winter and having snow in such some of the seasons, we do not talk about it. So for example, let's take this time now. This snow, it is, let me try to open here. This is around 8 centimeters. You can see it's like 8 centimeters snow. So now, this is one of the problems. Here we have up to 4 seasons, and out of the 4 seasons, the valuable season for growing crop is only one, and that is the summer. So what happens is, right now the farmers do not do any other thing, like there's no any other activity in the field. So what they only do is, for example, the farmers who are doing animal husbandry, or farmers who keep animal, they are concentrating more on their animals, because they already, for example, for us here, we already harvested the maize and then we made the silage. So that's why you're seeing this maize was cut. So the main reason was we made it for silage. So that's how they do the farming here. So this is still a problem, because assuming you do not, for example, your maize did not do well, and then you have little food to support your animals. So what do? Of course, the animals, you end up selling the animals out, or you lose the animals, or even you sell them cheaply, because now you can no longer feed them. So now what happens here is, I wanted us to understand that as we always say that European farmers, these people, they do not have problems because they have machineries, they have everything. Still there is a problem. Nature problem is one of them. So I said we have here 4 seasons, and out of 4 seasons, we actually just use the summer for growing the crop, which means the rest of the season is just wasted. Now look at this one. Right now we're in winter, and everywhere is covered with the snow. So this time now we cannot do any other thing in the field, but what we can only do is to work inside, or to work in a closed area in the farm, you see. So this is now the problem, because you cannot do any other activity in the field, and you will not do, maybe for example, plowing your field. At this time you cannot plow, or even planting. You can't plant at this time because it's extremely cold. And the other problem that the farmers here actually face is when it comes to the issues of the price fluctuation. And I know price fluctuation is everywhere, but there are seasons where you find like the price really goes down. For example, the farmers who do the fruits, there are seasons where you find the fruits are everywhere. For example, the apples, you find apples at least each and every home, or majority of the homes have got apples. So now those ones who are doing apple as a business, they end up selling their apples cheaply, because now the apple becomes too much. Like almost all the homes, you find people have got apples. Now people do not go to the, for example, people don't go to shops to look for apples. So therefore the price of those apples actually go down. So guys, the other problem that I wanted to share with you people is that the cost of inputs here in Europe, as I'm talking as of today, the cost of input actually is very high, because we all know that farmers in Europe, they do mostly their farming is in large scale. They don't do like the way we do in Africa in small scales. So they do in large scale, and therefore, as they do that, the cost of buying the inputs, for example, like the fertilizers and the seeds and everything to use, is really very high, and at the same time, it's also on demand. So these are some of the problems that I really wanted you guys, that I wanted to share with you people, because I think a lot of us in Africa feel like in Europe. So guys, the other problem that we do not actually look, all the Africans, we don't talk about is that the cost of input here in Europe is very, very high. Because I remember before coming here, I used to think like the cost of inputs here in Europe is very cheap compared to in Africa. But again, when I arrived here, I realized that actually here things are more expensive. Because at least in Africa, let's say for example, you can plant your things without fertilizer. But here it's not the story, because the soil has been overused. So therefore, for the soil to be productive, you need to put a lot, for example, you need to invest a lot on fertilizer, and you need also to buy the seeds. And the seeds you are buying, they are not like those ones we have in Africa, where you just go to market, you can buy the seed. Actually, you can recycle your seed, but this is not the case here. Here, people don't recycle the seeds. And talking about recycling, I mean like the seed you planted last year, you just harvest and keep it there, and then you plant it again. No, here they do not do it like that. Here you have to go again, buy another certified seed, because mostly here the farmers go certified. They go for certified things, so it makes it more expensive. Someone outside there can bear me witness that the certified seeds, they're never cheap seeds, right? The only seeds which are cheap are those ones which are recycled. So this is one problem that people do not talk about. For example, in my country, Uganda, people do not talk about it. They feel like everything here is very cheap, but that's not the case. Again, even the cost of fertilizer itself, because all these ones are under the inputs that the farmers here use. Even the machineries, everything that we use here to see that we grow crop are very expensive. I hope that one is understood. And the other problem that people do not actually talk about is also when it comes to the labor is one of the things which is very expensive. Though here they use machineries, but again, hiring someone to do or to operate that machinery is very expensive. That's why at the end you find like the farmer owns everything, or they have all the machineries, and they just end up operating it by themselves. So therefore, that is how they reduce the cost of labor. Because now, assuming you have like around 5 to 6 tractors on a farm, and now you want to hire the people, because for us in Africa, we know that people do hire the operators. So here is not the case. You find at the end like for example here, all the farmers, at least they have that know-how. They know how to operate the machines, and even they know how to service some of the things. So that's one of the problems that people do not actually look into, because in most cases people have ended up thinking that here in Europe the things are very cheap, everything is available. Guys, this is not the case, because whatever I'm sharing with you here, this is what I've discovered here on the ground, because this is my 5th year that I've worked here on these farms here. Like I've been operating on the farm. This is my 5th year, and these are the life problems that I'm actually sharing with you people. So therefore, we should have that mind. For example, when you own a tractor, I think you as a farmer, for you to cut that cost or cost of hiring a labor, you really need to operate it by yourself. And therefore, I am here to share with you that you people can know how the farmers actually solve some of the problems that they face here in Europe. And the other thing is talking about the price fluctuation itself. So here, for example, the farmers who deal in things which are not perishable, actually what they do is they keep these things or they store them and then they wait for the price to shoot up, because we know there are seasons where the price goes up. So that is one trick that you can actually have the bargaining power, because assuming you are dealing in let's say you have the maize. Now you've grown your maize and there is too much maize on the market. What do? You store it and then you wait for the season to, at least for example, you wait for the people to sell their maize all, then you come and sell yours after. So this is the way, or this is how people actually try to solve some of the problems that they face here. Because guys, trust me, every farm across the world, they have their own problems, or in every region the farmers have a problem at least, and therefore the solution always has to be found. And the other thing is also the land itself is very expensive thing here in Europe, and then what the farmers do is they end up hiring. Because I know in my country, for example in Uganda, a lot of people feel like I'm not supposed to hire the land, I may make it a loss. Yes, I know this one comes, making a loss is part of farming, because things in farming you are going there to risk, and also if you don't risk, still you'll have to eat at the end. So therefore, what am I trying to say? The thing is, when you're going for farming, you have to keep it in mind that how am I going to stand with this risk, or how am I going to avoid all these risks, because we know there are risks like the prices. So that's why when it comes to the price, you'll have to time properly, because that's how you are going to be able to hit the market, like to get the right market price. The other problem that a lot of people do not actually talk about is the problem of aging farmers. Here in Denmark, the statistics shows that at least 80% of the farmers have grown old, or they are old farmers. And this is because the youth have decided actually to join the city life, thinking that that's the best life. Yes, we know everyone needs the city life, but remember, going to city means you also going there, you'll need food at the end, right? And now this one is a problem in a way that everyone has decided to go to the city and then leaving the old ones in the village doing the farming. And now this has again caused the problem of price to shoot up, because this is for example here, Denmark is one of the countries, or one of the expensive countries when it comes to the foodstuffs, because as I said, the number of farmers who are producing the food, they are not really much. They are few, they look so many, but the thing is just because the area occupied by the farms is too big, so these ones try their level best, and as their energy goes down, the production also reduces, and therefore it leads to the increase in the final price of the food. So this is also a problem that many people do not talk about. And the other problem is also we have got problem of there is cheap imports, and also competition from some of the non-EU countries, because here the food actually does not just, not that every food we eat here comes from this country, but also there are those countries who produce their food cheaply and also export them here, or they are imported here in Denmark. So now what happens is these farmers at the same time, they also face that problem with those other countries or other producers of the same commodities. Here I mean what they produce here and other countries also producing, but for those countries they actually produce it with low cost, and when the goods reach here, the goods are also sold cheaply, and therefore it ends up into the competition. So these ones who sell cheaply, they end up dominating the market, leaving these ones, or leaving the EU farmers or the EU products which are expensive. So that's one of the problems, because when you go to the shop right now, you'll find like for example the tomatoes which are produced in Denmark, and also the tomatoes which are produced in maybe another country, you find like they are cheaper than these ones which are here. And the reason why these ones put their prices higher is just because the cost of inputs is really high. So that's why they end up hiking their price, thinking that they can recover it. But at the end, those ones who are producing from other countries sell theirs cheaply. So this is a very big problem that a lot of EU farmers are actually facing. And we, people who are outside Europe, we see, we think like these are not the problem, but this is a problem. So this is the reason why I wanted to share with you guys some of these things. So guys, this is what I wanted actually to share with you today, because we all know that information is power. Without information, you'll not have self-confidence in yourself, because you'll think like the problem that you're facing is just ends with you. No, these problems actually other people are also facing. And now the thing is, how do they solve their problems, or how do they solve them is now the answer. And that's why I decided today to make this video, such that you should also know that these are the same problems the same problems you face are the same problem other people are facing. So therefore guys, we have come to the end of our video. And if you're new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, such that you are the first person to get notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.